is about jointing. Always make sure you have the correct tools with you before you even start. These are just some of the range of tools which you would actually use for jointing. Obviously your brush. This here is called a chariot. Okay, I'll demonstrate in a minute what we use a chariot for. Jointer. And just a piece of hose pipe. Gauging trowel.
Is that not a pointing trowel?
Sorry, pointing trowel, yeah, they call it gauge trowel, pointing trowel. And just an ordinary bricklaying trowel, okay? This little thing here, we use as a straight edge, but it's also literally used to literally level out all different types of stuff, but today we're going to use this as a straight edge, okay? Most importantly is our sand and cement, what we've got. Today we're using lime mortar. Some people prefer, when they're jointing up, their sand and cement to be a lot stiffer, a lot drier. I tend to like mine a little bit more wetter, especially when I'm doing weatherstruck pointing. Two different types of pointing we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing half rounded and also weatherstruck, okay? I'll explain to you about the weatherstruck pointing as we go through, okay? Right, so what we're going to do is first off, we're going to make sure our walls are actually raked out, okay? What raking out means is literally taking out the old cement. This is what we use on brickwork, which is very, very loose, okay? All it is we've got two wheels, we've got a nail sticking out. That nail should literally stick into the brickwork at least an inch, okay? And here's a little, this is a little quiz for you. How many millimetres to an inch, okay? That's your question. All we do is literally, we run it along our brickwork, up and down, and then that literally takes all of our cement out, okay? This is the one I've done just earlier on, okay, so we don't have to do too much. Once that's actually all raked out, most importantly, you grab your brush. Because what you don't want in there is you don't want loads of little bits of dust and all the rest of it, because it actually it stops the muck from actually sticking inside. So all we're going to do is literally brush our brickwork, okay? Making sure there's no dust left inside it. The reason being why we rake it out inside there an inch is so we can get enough muck inside the brickwork. There's no point in just taking out 2 or 3 millimetres, because at the end of the day, as soon as it starts to dry, it'll crack and fall out. It's not doing anything. Okay? Right. What I'm going to show you first is half round jointing. Two different types of tools we can use. Obviously, metal jointer, okay? Two different sizes. You've got 1/4 inch, you've got 1/2 inch. And as you can see, the actual end of it is rounded. This is why we call it a half round joint, okay? If you haven't got one of them, just a simple bit of hose pipe, okay? I'm going to demonstrate with both of them so you can get a good idea of what both of them actually do, okay? Right, so what we can do, take a little bit of muck out of that bucket, give it a little tap so the muck actually sticks, and all we're going to do is this. We're going to grab our hose and literally just pull our muck down a little fraction like that, okay? And then all we're going to do is push and roll. The muck is now on there. We first start off by jointing all of our perps, okay? And that's the first thing we're going to go along doing. Yeah, quite simply, we're just going to go all the way down, doing all of our perps first off. Okay, that was with that. Now, exactly the same with the jointer. You do exactly the same. Okay, straight on, same thing. Making sure you get plenty of muck in there and it actually fills the holes up. Okay, that's correct. bit more muck. Yeah, it's just quickly, quite straightforward. Once you've actually done all your perps, and this is where we're going to literally go into jointing the rest, okay? Start from the corner, go that way, and then feed a little bit that way, okay? That makes sure it gets enough muck in the end. If you try to go that way all the time, you're not going to fill the ends up, okay? So when you come up to an end, you literally drag it back from the end and work your way along, like so.
So do you have to be really precise with this?
Yes, you've got to. I mean, if you don't actually fill the actual holes right the way up, literally you'll have a void behind it. 9 times out of 10, water can actually seep behind it, blow whatever you've done. It's no good.
And obviously, from a customer's point of view, would they be happy to pay you if there's bits missing?
No. The art of any job is literally, once you've finished the job, is literally to leave that looking absolutely spot on. You leave it all rough and not jointed up and all the rest of it, customer comes home, looks at it and goes, that's not good enough. They then start looking at other things, okay? So, all we're going to do is we're going to run this line in. Once again, from the end, just push a little bit of muck in first off, and then we're going to go back on ourselves now. Make sure you get plenty of muck on there. And as you notice, when I'm actually pulling this through, I'm always going back on myself.
So the jointing actually keeps the water out, doesn't it?
Yep, jointing keeps any water from seeping in there. So once we've got enough muck in there, all we can do is literally work it along. And most importantly, go backwards and forwards a couple of times, okay? You need to get that definition of that into the brick, okay? It needs to be half round, yeah? There's no point in it being dead straight. Obviously, once the muck starts to dry, we then go back to our little brush to make all these little bits all nice and neat. All we literally do is we brush using a diagonal motion, okay? The reason why we actually brush diagonally, if we brush that way, all we do is we get all marks in our mortar like that. If you brush actually diagonally, you don't get any, okay? So whenever you're pointing and you're finished, just give it a brush up, tidies the work up, makes it look nice and neat. Alright, so that's just the first bit of pointing, what we just learnt. Now, slightly harder is a thing called weatherstruck pointing. Weatherstruck pointing is, I mean, to be honest, it's used on, I would say, older buildings nowadays, okay? You won't see it on new buildings, it's more older buildings. All depends on the type of brick you're using. I mean, old stocks, things like that. They actually suck up the moisture, so when it rains, the bricks really suck up a lot of water. So what we want to do is literally, when it rains, is try to deflect as much water away from the brick as possible. And this is why we do weatherstruck pointing. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate for you right now, okay? Right, so, same again. You can actually use a hook. A lot of people use hooks on here. If you haven't got a hook, just a standard trowel will be fine, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to run our line in, but instead of running it in with a jointer, filling it in with a jointer, we're actually going to use now a pointing trowel, okay? The object of this is to literally point at an angle, okay? So we're literally putting the muck in like that. What we're looking to do is we're looking to achieve literally pushing the muck in and a diagonal angle like that. So we're looking to literally cover our brick, probably around about 2 millimeters, okay? So I'm just going to show you what we're going to do first, okay? So a little bit of muck first off, okay? All we're going to do is we're just going to piece a little bit in first off, okay? I'm just going to fill the gaps up And as you can see, as I'm going through nice and easily, I filled it up. Now, I've got that there, watch this. All I'm going to do is now go back on myself. And as you can now see, I'm forcing the muck now at that angle. Okay, so I'm going to joint underneath the brick. As you can see, we've got loads of bits overhanging onto our brickwork now. This is what we want. Okay, we want that muck literally overhanging. The reason being why we overhang the muck like that is so we can cut it off in a nice straight line, and that is where we get. If you have a look, I've actually jointed underneath the brickwork like so, angling my trowel, so we do form that wedge shape. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut it off. Okay, so you imagine you've done quite a long wall. You need a straight edge. All we do is we put our straight edge on like that, and all we're going to do is this. We're just going to cut nice and slowly, nice and evenly. Okay? Right, voila. As you can see, we have our lip. So if you imagine the water coming down our brickwork, it hits that lip there and literally deflects the water away from the brick underneath. That's weatherstruck pointing. Okay, it stops literally a lot of the moisture, a lot of the rain going onto the brick and not seeping through. You'll see that on a lot of chimney stacks where they need repointing, old buildings, that type of stuff. Okay, looks quite easy to do. I've done it for quite a few years anyway, but have a go. Don't get frustrated if it doesn't work first time. Just keep at it, and eventually you'll get the hang of it. Thank you.